Welcome back to another episode of Spaceman 2.0. In today's episode, we're going to help you grow in the knowledge of truth that there is no death, there's only life. And for those who are ever contemplated suicide or ever got so depressed you felt like your life was that bad, just hold on tight because you're going to realize the truth that there's nothing but love. There's nothing but truth. There's nothing but God in your DNA. And you are made in the image of God. Those Hebrew letters down at the left are not created by man. No Israeli, Hebrew, or whatever. Most Israelis don't even speak Hebrew, by the way, because they had to take that religion on. And Hebrew's not their native tongue. Yiddish was, and so forth, but you can look into that. So no language belongs to any man. Sanskrit doesn't belong to the Hindus, even though they use it the most. Egyptian doesn't belong to the Egyptians, even though they use it the most. Chinese doesn't belong to the Chinese, even though they use it most. And Aramaic doesn't belong to the people of Aramea, even though they used it most. It belongs to God. Every language came from God. You have 5 fingers, you have 5 sacred languages. They come from sacred geometry created by star tetrahedrons inside a toroidal field of tube torus. And the difference within the aspects of the tetrahedral curve within the tube torus going through a prism at a certain angle, 22 angles, 27 angles for 27 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, 22 main letters, and so forth. And when you put cameras up to look at the crash test dummies, you need 27. All right, a cube has 6 sides, but it really has 22 aspects to it if you count all the parts to it. So we live in 22 great cycles of life, humanity. We are reincarnated beings, by the way. We do not live just once, low, and that's it, like Drake tries to promote. Because they're trying to promote that human values are not important because you only live once. That's what these elites are doing. They're trying to degrade your soul. This is not a fight against physical, at least as much violence as spiritual violence against your soul. Okay, so beware of principalities of power. These are of the air of Luciferian, satanic energies that are trying to inculcate and pervade your mind with depressive and not knowing your true value within life and within God's holy structure. You're made in the image of God. Even the angels are below you. You as a human being, no matter your status, are above the angels. You are created internally with good and God. God created the angels externally. And therefore, you are in the image of God and you're more important than the angels to God. So let's get that straight if you're contemplating any sort of depressive feelings. And for those who are out there, I always want to put that out there for anyone who's contemplating suicide thoughts. If you look deep within, you'll know that doing that is against the laws of God. God is not for death. God is not for murder. God is not for force. God is love, truth, and peace, and compassion, and insight, and wondrous love given in patience to allow us to unfold in our human values, our character, build character, and character and integrity within the structure of God. And that's what the purpose of life for, and that's why you have many reincarnations on this planet. With this book right here, Reincarnation, slipping in and out of the flesh, this is the true purpose of life, to come to life, forgetting of the last life so that you can grow in knowledge of truth from an awareness that's objective. And if you don't think reincarnation was alluded to in the Bible, they took it out because that was made after 400 years after Christ came upon the planet to free us from the Pharisees and the tax collectors of taking away our mind and our money. But look at here, okay, with references from the Christian teachings. Okay, references in the Bible are, for example, found in Matthew 16:14, also Luke 9:19, when Jesus asked who people thought he was. Thereupon his disciples answered him, and some thought him to be John the Baptist, others Elijah, and yet others Jeremiah, or some other prophet. And in another example, Jesus spoke of the return of Elijah, meaning John the Baptist. And Matthew 17:10-13, also Luke 9:8, and others. Okay? So that's very interesting. And there's a church teacher, Rufinus, confirmed in a letter to Anastasius that the belief in repeated lives was common knowledge for the church fathers. And that all the time it had been passed on as an old tradition. Origenes 185-254, who was one of the greatest Greek church fathers, taught reincarnation with strong conviction The original Bible manuscripts in Greek and Hebrew were still at his disposal. So see, they changed this stuff. It was originally in Aramaic, also Hebrew, and then Greek for easier translation. So if that doesn't say it, reincarnation is real, people. I know it to be real. I know I can't die. I know I'm an immortal being, and that sounds funny, but my physical body can. So don't get me wrong. Now, the 4 letters that make up the name of God, okay? One is called a yod, and that equals 10. The next letter is a hey, and that equals 5. The next letter is a vo, and that equals 6. And the next letter is a hey, and that equals 5. Well, what does that equal? 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 6 is 21, plus 5 is 26. What does 26 equal? An 8 for infinity.